Back in the summertime, Holly and I were exploring and we decided to try this little creek here, and we had success. We caught a few carp and the Murray cod. So today I've come back to drown some bait and see if I can catch a fish. Hey you! You're watching Robbie Fishing. Now I've just got the one rod. It's got a paternoster rig and 2 Jan Juck worms. Now in my introduction I said back in the summertime. It's still summertime. That was only about a week ago. But I'm filming for my From the Vault series. For those of you that might be new to my channel and might not know what that is, each year for the last few years I've filmed a dozen or 12 or 13 videos in the summer months, and then I save them in a folder on my computer so that in the winter, when the fishing's slow and it's hard to get out and the days are shorter and it's just harder to get fishing content, I've got a guaranteed video of at least one video each week that I can share. Look, I'm getting a bite already. Got him. Ha! Wouldn't read about it. What have I got? Probably a carp. Yep, a little carp. Ugh, look at it. I just literally just filmed my introduction. Well, that all happened very quickly. Well, I'm on the board with a carp. I know there are cod in here, and I suspect that there could even be a redfin or a blackfish or something else as well. Maybe a yellow belly, but for now it's just carp. I'll put it out of its misery and I'll continue telling you what I was telling you. Right, with that carp removed from the system and a couple of fresh worms on, I'll continue my story. Well, that carp's not actually removed from the system. It's still in the system. It's just not as healthy as what it was a few minutes ago. It's dead as a doornail and it's yabby food. Anyway, as I was saying, each year in the warmer months when the fish are biting and they're easy to catch in most places, I like to get a dozen or 13 videos or something and put them aside and put them in a folder on my computer so that during the winter months when it's hard to get content, when the fish aren't biting and it's harder to find fish that are active, I've got a guarantee of at least one video every week that I can share. So I'm deliberately filming for my From the Vault series today. And the reason I've chosen to film my From the Vault series today is because I only filmed a video in this spot only a week ago, so it'll be a little bit repetitive having them too close together. So I'll stick this in the From the Vault series. I hope you're enjoying your winter, even though it's still summer when I say that. Well, I'm getting another bite, look. Gee, been here 5 minutes. Oh, whoa, big bite. Oh, he got off. I put the line straight back in. There's not a second to lose. I was looking at my phone. I look up and my rod was, there was a fish already hooked up. There's something just nibbling on that there now. That was like a yabby bite to me. A real slow little pull. Right. If I didn't know it, that might be, it's a bit fishier. That's a bit more fishier. That might be a better English word. Come on. And I reckon that was a yabby. I bet anything that was a yabby. I've got to put a yabby net in here because I reckon there's yabbies in here. I love this type of fishing, just off the beaten track, thinking outside the box. Places people wouldn't normally fish. This creek actually dries up every few years. But obviously when there's water in it, there's fish in it. I just love exploring new places, especially when you don't know what you're going to catch. Now I know that I'm going to catch carp here. I've caught quite a few of them, including one already today. And I know there's a chance of catching a Murray cod here because I caught one last time I was here. But I don't know what else is here. The more often I come here and fish this spot, the more I'll understand what I'm likely to catch. But I reckon there's yabbies in here as well, because I've had a couple of nibbles from yabbies. I just love the adventure. It's adventure. It's exploring. It's thinking outside the box. It's adventure, and I just really enjoy it. That was a nibble. That looked a bit bitey. It's hard to say. The wind sprung right up and it's blowing the slack around, but it just looked like I had a bit of a nibble there then. There, okay, that's a bite for sure. Got him. Small fish. What have I got? A smaller carp. I do like to catch other species in my From the Vault series than just carp, because carp are one species that I do tend to be able to catch in winter. Anyway, quite a dark one, that one. Not as dark as that one I got recently that was jet black, but still a dark carp. Right, I've got 2 carp on the board and I've lost 1 other fish. When I was coming in here before, I saw an elephant. It was so wrinkly. You ever noticed how elephants are so wrinkly? You know why that is? Because they're so big, it just takes so long to iron them. Here we go. And got it. And it's another little carpio, is it? Yep. Carpio number 3. Might There's a little... normally I stomp on their head with my foot to knock them out of their misery, but I've taken my shoes off. I'll just use one of these sticks. Then I might just sit it here on the mud and see if I can entice a water rat to come along. You might be able to see that small carp just down there. He blends in a bit, but let's see if that water rat can sniff that out. Right, 3 carp on the board. Time for another species. Time for a yellow belly or something a bit unexpected. Sometimes people ask me how I kill the carp when I catch them. How do I euthanize them? Well, first of all, I'm in Australia. For anyone that's landed on this video from overseas, here in Australia we've got to kill carp. They're a declared noxious species and we're not allowed to put them back alive. So what I do, depending on the size of the fish, usually with a small fish like that one, I just unhook it and just go stomp with the heel of my foot on its head. It looks gross, and the do-gooders will tell me that it's cruel and barbaric, but in my opinion it's an instant kill, dead, lights out, no pain, no suffering, just bang. If it's a big fish, I'll get a stick and whack it over the head, or I'll just get a knife and I'll just drive it down between the eyes and sort of brain spike it. And if I'm in a boat, like Sandy's boat or my dad's boat or something, I'll do the same thing. I'll just get a knife. I don't want to put my foot through the floor of the boat, so I'll get a knife straight down between the head. But with these smaller fish on the bank, I normally just put them on the bank, go bang with me heel, then just get the front of my foot and kick them back in the water and let them float down for the water rats and stuff to eat. Some people try and convince me that they can still spawn when they're dead, but I struggle to believe that. I think it's a myth. And got him. What have I got? Another carp? Is that a redfin? It is too. Ha! Something different. Something different. That's not a carp. There he goes. The first time I've caught one of these in here. He's got that down a bit deep. I've actually got some hook dislodgers here that were sent to me by Robert Cotton in my mail time segment a while back. Well, there's a bit of blood there. I might just break the line and throw him back. There we go, a little redfin, eh? Oh, I should have held him up and given you a good look first, huh? There we are. So now, in this spot, I've caught carp, Murray cod and redfin. This is shaping up to be another lucky dip creek. Right, I've got a new paternoster rig. I re-rigged it completely after I broke that hook off. I'm wishing that I'd held the redfin up closer to the camera to give you a good look, but I never thought. What happens, I see a bit of blood and I see the fish is in distress and I just want to get it back in as quick as I can. Doesn't matter whether it's a trout or a redfin or a yellow belly or a Murray cod. As soon as I see a bit of blood coming out of the gills, it's like an instinct to just drop everything, break the line, throw it back. And as soon as I saw that blood, that's what I done. Now, that's 3 different species that I've caught in this spot now. I can see down there, I don't know whether the camera's picking it up or not, the ring's on the edge of the water, but there's a massive big carp down there. He's just under this, his back just coming out of the water down there now. You can see this big long carp back. I can see about 30 centimetres just of its back. It's like a whale. I sort of think, I know there's coddy, but there's unlikely to be any big coddy because it's such a small waterway. But if big carp like that can live here, then why couldn't big cod? Well, that redfin was a pleasant surprise. I'm not overly surprised, but I am surprised. I was surprised to see it. I just expected I was just going to catch heaps of carp. It's a bite for sure. First one for a while. It's a carp bite, I reckon. That's very carpy looking bite, this one. Got carp written all over it. Got him. Bigger carp too. Yeah, bigger carp is... Yes, very much bigger carp. This is why I've got the landing net here. I've caught 4 fish and I've lifted them all straight out, but this one isn't going to be getting lifted straight out. I might have got me on a snag, I think. Was it just heavy? I think it's just heavy. This is a good 60 to 70 centimetre carp. I'm not even going to be able to get this in here. It's just going to go wherever it wants. There was a huge big carp swimming around down there just before, and I thought, if I hook that, I'm never going to get it out. Look at the size of the thing. I'm using 4-pound line and a little 1 to 2 kilo rod or something. Ultralight rod and reel. That's probably an 8 or 9 pound carp, if not more. And it's hooked in the back fin as well, making it even worse. Strangely enough, it's not going ballistic. Maybe because it hasn't realised what's going on yet, or because it just doesn't have the room. Oh, here we go. Now I've got commotion. This is a huge fish on light line. It's going to take a miracle to get it in. Oh, it's so heavy. It just feels like I'm snagged. When it just sits there like that, it just feels like I've got a big snag. I explained before how I kill carp, and I said the bigger ones I just hit them on the head. That's what's going to be happening to this one if I can get it out. Don't drop me net in. It's just sitting there. This is my trout rod, or one of my trout. Gone. Wrap me around that branch there and snap the line. As soon as it wrapped around that branch, it just gave a kick and gone. It was always going to be a challenge getting a carp about at least 60 to 70 centimetres long. It was always going to be a challenge to land it in a creek this small with snags using 4-pound line on a whippy trout rod. Righto, we've got another paternoster rig, a couple of fresh worms. Had I been in Lake Hume or Lake Moodamere or somewhere that's nice and open without snags, I would have got that fish. But in here with the snags, it was a struggle, and it wasn't until it wrapped around a snag down there that it managed to snap the line. I'm getting a bite already. It was literally only about 2 seconds ago that there was all that commotion with the carp, and I thought, I better don't get a bite for a while because it'll probably take a while for things to settle down. Something's already nibbling at that. Looks like a yabby bite, I reckon. Look at that, it's literally only been probably 2 or 3 minutes since I lost that big carp. I rigged the line up and put it in, and it's been in for about probably not even a minute. That's a bite, that's a fish. The wind's blowing the line around, but there was definitely a fish pulling on that then. Got him. It's another redfin. Feels a bit like one. It is it's a little carp. Ugh. He fell off. Don't go back in the creek. No. You don't want that happening. No. I was hoping it would be a redfin, but it's another carpio. But a bum. Another carp bites the dust. I reckon that had a bite there. There it goes. It is a bite. And got him. The rod was wobbling all over the place in the wind. Let me guess, carp? Yep. Bigger one. Not as big as the big whale that I lost earlier. Not even close to being as big as that. That was so heavy, that fish. It just felt like I was, when it wasn't swimming, it was just holding still. It felt like I was snagged. This one's probably about high 40s, maybe 50 centimetres. Definitely too big to be lifting straight up with 4-pound line. I'm confident that I'll get this one. With that big one before, I had no confidence. I knew I wasn't going to get that last fish in. That real big one. It's going to get a bit tricky though. I need someone to grab me rod and walk backwards so that I don't have to high stick it on this high bank. High sticking rods is when you hold it really steep and just bend to the tip instead of the whole rod, and it's a great way to break fishing rods. Got him. Oh, no I haven't. He was in there. I didn't have hold of the net properly because I was trying to reach down too low. I wish the net was about a foot longer. Now I've got hold of it properly. Come on, into the net. Now I've got him. Got him this time. Well, that's the biggest one of the day that I've landed, but definitely not the biggest one that I've hooked. Take it up here to the stick and the dispatch zone. There we go. Not good light, is it? There we go. Biggest carp today, probably nudging 50 centimetres. Now I've got to tie a new rig on here because I think my unconventional technique of getting the carp out of the net might have caused my sinker to snap off, so I've just broken the hook off. What I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how I tie a paternoster rig, right? I've got the sinker on the end. Tie a knot on. Tie it there. Doesn't matter. Do a hitch, double hitch, triple hitch to quadruple hitched NFG knot. It doesn't matter. You just do whatever knot you want. I'm just going to wrap that around 4 or 5 times, and that's going to stop that from sliding. If you're using braided line, you've got to be a bit more careful because the line can slip. So I'll break that tail off. Right, now there is my sinker tangled around everything here. Right, there's my sinker. Now I'm going to lay my line down, but I'm going to hold it up with the line. There's my line. You can't really probably see it in this camera angle, but anyway, I'll try. I've got it laying over my thumb, you see that? Pull it down like that to create like a loop. Then I'll wrap it around both bits of line, then pull it back through itself, and that'll give me a loop. I've actually tied that to my finger. That wasn't a very good example, but I've done it anyway. I'll do that again, wrap it around. Wrap it around the top or the bottom or whatever. I just wrap it around 3 or 4 times. Normally I just run that between my lips, just to put a bit of saliva on it, just to lubricate it a bit and prevent it from building up any friction, because that can make it become weak. And there's the loop in my line. So I now have the sinker at the bottom with a loop hanging off the side. Then I just get the end of the loop. I squeeze. I've got to get the fishing line out of the hook from the last knot. That can go down there in my tackle box. Get the end of the loop, squeeze it, like pinch it to make a little point. Then I poke it through the eye of the hook, then just loop it over the tip. Paternostery, done. If you're using braided line, you want to be a bit more careful with the knot on the sinker, because braided line knots can slip. And also, a big tip with braided line, rather than poking it through and looping it over the hook, you want to make your loop a lot bigger, poke it through, but then tie a blood knot with the line rather than just looping it over, because even though you can't see it with your eyes, there's usually a really incy microscopic gap at the end of that loop on the hook, and the braided line will often pull through, and that'll result in you losing the hook and possibly a fish. But anyway, tie the sinker on the bottom, form a loop, wrap it around a couple of times and tie it, then just poke it through the hook. There's your paternostery. It's such a cool afternoon. The southerly breeze has just sprung up, and it just feels so comfortable, so pleasant. Right, I've just baited that up for the last time. I reckon I'm going to try and catch one more fish, and then I'm going to head off. I want to get home early tonight. One of the things about fishing in summer, I love to fish. I love to fish that twilight period, that sunset period. But it usually means I don't get home until 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night. So today I just made the decision to have a mid-afternoon fishing session. I'll get home early. The carpy looking bite if I've ever seen one. Here it goes. That's a carp. That's got to be a carp, I reckon, with a bite like that. And got him. Oh, here we go, look. I said I want to catch one more fish. Can I catch one more? And that wasn't 1 minute ago. I literally put that line in 30 seconds ago and caught another carp. Carp Central. And then the carp fishermen lived happily ever after. The end.